Leaving no learner behind. Greetings, everyone. I am Kihembo Wilbert, the project coordinator and ICT coordinator at Empress International, Uganda. It is truly an honor to be here today, sharing a vision that is both deeply personal and crucial for our collective future, leaving no learner behind. Education is the foundation of progress. Yet millions of our children, especially those in rural communities and marginalized groups, are still being left behind. Some face barriers due to disability, others due to gender inequality, poverty, or lack of access to resources. At Empress International Foundation, we believe that every child, regardless of their abilities, gender, or background, deserves the opportunity to learn, grow, and reach their programs that tackle the key challenges in inclusive education. Today, I will take you on a journey, one of the highlights, the transformative impact of a self-directed e-learning, teacher training, and mentorship programs. These interventions are reshaping education for students with disabilities and girls in Rwenzori, proving that true inclusion is not just an idea, it is a reality we can achieve. Together, we can break barriers, shift mindsets, and build a future where no child is excluded from learning opportunities. And I am a living example of what inclusive education makes possible. Let's begin. Slide 2. The e-learning initiative. Since 2019, Empress International Foundation has been at the forefront of inclusive education, ensuring that all learners have equal access to learning, regardless of their abilities or gender. We started with 10 primary schools in Rwenzori region of Western Uganda, and we are excited to expand to 15 schools, reaching 3,643 students this year, and this includes 1,860 girls, representing 51%, and 1,783 boys, representing 49%. 379 learners with disabilities, representing 10.4%. While these numbers are encouraging, barriers still exist. Students with disabilities face exclusion due to stigma, lack of resources, and inadequate teacher training. Girls are more likely to drop out of school due to financial constraints, cultural expectations, and lack of support. Bullying and discrimination persist, making it harder for marginalized students to thrive. To tackle these challenges, Empress developed a multifaceted approach that goes beyond just providing access to schools. Our work involves 1. E-learning labs to bring technology-based learning to rural learners. 2. Teacher training programs to equip educators with inclusive teaching strategies. 3. Mentorship cycles led by professionals with disabilities to inspire and guide students. 4. Community engagement to shift societal attitudes towards gender and disability inclusion. Our goal is to transform not just education, but the mindsets and cultures that shape students' experiences in schools. Slide 3. The e-learning initiative. Technology is a game changer in education, but access remains a challenge in rural areas. That's why Empress introduced self-directed e-learning as an innovative solution. We equipped 10 primary schools with e-learning labs powered by offline virtual servers. These servers provide digital learning without the need for internet connectivity. contain thousands of educational resources, books, videos, and apps are designed to accommodate learners with disabilities, including those with hearing, visual, and intellectual impairments. Through this initiative, we encouraged self-directed learning, allowing students to explore and learn at their own pace. The results have been remarkable. Students became more confident and engaged. Girls showed increased interest in science subjects. Learners with disabilities improved in digital literacy and academic performance. This was not just about introducing technology, it was about empowering students with the tools to take control of their education. Slide 4. What impact did self-directed e-learning have? Our research tells us a powerful story. Cognitive skills, math and literacy performance. Math scores increased by 63.4% in intervention schools, compared to 45.1% in control schools. Literacy scores also saw a 23% improvement, proving the effectiveness of e-learning labs. Inclusion and social impact. Students in intervention schools developed a higher levels of teamwork and intrinsic motivation. Empathy towards students with disabilities increased, leading to a reduction in bullying. More students, particularly girls, expressed a desire to continue their education beyond primary school. These findings reinforce that inclusive, technology-driven learning environments can transform not just academic results, but also students' confidence, aspirations, and attitudes towards inclusion. Slide 5. Teacher trainings. Inclusive education is not just about technology. It is about equipping teachers with knowledge and skills to support all learners. In 2024, Empress launched a teacher training program focused on 1. Using e-learning labs effectively, 2. Supporting students with different impairments, 3. Creating disability-friendly classrooms, and finally, gender sensitivity training to encourage girls' participation. Teachers are the backbone of inclusive education. By giving them the right tools and mindset, we are ensuring that students receive not just digital learning, but also the human support they need to thrive. Slide 6. Inclusion workshops. Inclusion beyond academics. Building respect, representation, and acceptance, belonging, respect, and representation for all learners. True education goes beyond textbooks and classrooms. It nurtures understanding, empathy, and acceptance, ensuring that no child is left behind because of disability, gender, or background. However, many students with disabilities continue to face stigma, discrimination, and exclusion from their peers, teachers, and even communities. Negative attitudes, misconceptions, and lack of awareness create barriers to learning that go far beyond physical accessibility. To address these challenges, we introduced inclusion workshops led by professionals with disabilities, individuals who have first-hand experience navigating these barriers and who serve as a powerful advocates and role models for students. These workshops are designed to shift perceptions, empower students, and build a culture of inclusion in schools. Key components of inclusion workshops. Membership circles. Small groups where students, both with and without disabilities, interact with mentors who have disabilities. These mentors share their experiences, challenges, and achievements, helping students understand what it means to live with a disability, while also demonstrating that disability is not inability. Through open conversations, role-playing activities, and guided discussions, students develop empathy, respect, and appreciation for diversity. 2. Disability awareness sessions. These sessions educate both students and teachers about disability rights, accessibility, and the use of adaptive technologies. Teachers learn inclusive teaching methods, while students gain a better understanding of how to support and interact with their peers with disabilities. Topics covered include the importance of equal education opportunities for all students, common myths and misconceptions about disabilities, how assistive technologies such as screen readers, sign language apps, and braille devices help students with disabilities learn effectively, strategies to prevent bullying and discrimination in schools. 3. Holiday camps. During school holidays, we organize interactive, hands-on workshops where students can explore inclusion and diversity in creative ways. 4. Inclusion ambassadors. In every school, we will select and train female leaders, both with and without disabilities, who take on the role of inclusion ambassadors. Their responsibilities include promoting disability awareness among their peers, advocating for students with disabilities within their schools, organize peer support programs to ensure that no student feels isolated, and encouraging their fellow students to stand up against discrimination. The impact of inclusion workshops. By bringing professionals with disabilities into schools, we are changing perceptions, fostering acceptance, and empowering students with disabilities to see their own potential. These workshops do not just teach students about inclusion, they model inclusion in action. Students without disabilities learn that their peers with disabilities are not different, but equally capable individuals who deserve respect, opportunities, and friendship. Students with disabilities gain confidence, seeing mentors who have succeeded despite challenges, inspiring them to believe in their own abilities. Teachers and school staff become more aware of how to create a truly inclusive learning environment, reducing unconscious biases and improving classroom experiences for all learners. Beyond the classroom, a cultural shift. Inclusion is not just about education, it's about transforming entire communities. The lessons learned in our workshops extend beyond the classroom walls, influencing families, local leaders, and society at large. When students grow up in a school environment that celebrates diversity and embraces inclusion, they carry these values into adulthood, shaping a more accepting and equitable world for future generations. At Embrace International Foundation, we are not just changing education, we are changing lives. Slide 7. To conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. Education is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. So, I ask you, how can you contribute to making education more inclusive? How can we ensure that no learner is left behind? Let's work together to create a world where education is truly inclusive for all. Leave no learner behind. Thank you for listening.